Okay, people, huge breaking news for Dragon Ball. Yes, it is happening. Yes, it is going down. Dragon Ball Super anime is actually returning after all of these years. I want to say it was 2018 when the anime, March 2018 for that matter, when the anime went off air. Then it was that we got the Broly film later on in the year. And then from there on, we had the superhero film. So it's been a long time since we actually had the actual TV anime of Dragon Ball Super return, but it seems as though all of this crazy news we got is about to really set it off in a major way for the Dragon Ball franchise, because for starters, yes, people, Dragon Ball Super anime is returning, but it's kind of crazy because based on the information that we got, is not as simple as, because yeah, we got the big announcement that Dragon Ball Super is returning with the Galactic Patrol arc of the Dragon Ball Super anime. And of course, before we continue, hit that subscribe and that bell so you can get more. We out here, baby, let's go. Which essentially is just the Moro arc. If you read the manga, if you don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil it, but if you read the manga, Dragon Ball Super's Galactic Patrol arc is just basically the next arc in Dragon Ball Super that the manga never had animated thus far. So basically, post Broly, after the Broly film, there was more story that came about, but it was just in the manga, because there was a lot of behind the scenes legal rights that was being handled. And then of course we had the untimely passing of the late great legendary Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball himself. So we had a lot of things going on behind the scenes, but there was more Dragon Ball story that happened after the Broly film. Like it just happened. And of course the superhero film that kind of technically I guess would possibly take place after the fact of all of this stuff. But regardless of what, we got the announcement, Dragon Ball Super, the Galactic Patrol arc is happening. We're about to have this. Dragon Ball announces Dragon Ball Super, the Galactic Patrol anime. The Dragon Ball Genki Matsuri 40th anniversary event for the Dragon Ball franchise on Sunday announced a new anime titled Dragon Ball Super, the Galactic Patrol. The event revealed a video that shows animated panels and other art from Akira Toriyama's original manga before announcing the anime. Academy Award winning composer Hans Zimmer composed the music for the video. Naoki Miyahara directed the video at Toei Animation. And then of course there's a key visual, Vegeta, Goku with a new little emblem, so to speak, a new logo on them, and the Galactic Patrol. Essentially it looks like they're putting the Galactic Patrol, because yeah, technically that was like an aspect of the Dragon Ball, manga of the next arc or whatnot, but it looks like they're just adding that as a tagline for people that don't know. Like they're not gonna put Dragon Ball Super 2 or anything like that, so it's just kind of like a subtitle to get people excited, like, oh, it's something fresh, it's something new, but it's still a continuation of Dragon Ball Super. Looks like it's gonna be great. Looks like it's gonna be awesome. We're looking at possibly, I want to say maybe a 2027 release. And regardless of what, after all these years, it's freaking incredible and great to finally be able to say that Dragon Ball Super is returning. This is something that the fandom deserves. This is something that everybody deserves, which kind of leads me to, I guess, something unfortunate in between all that, because we still got some other stuff to talk about that is very huge. The fact that no manga announcement, no manga return announcement for the Dragon Ball Super manga, which means that depending on how much this new anime goes through, right, if it's an ongoing one or seasonal, it's probably going to be seasonal, I gotta imagine, unless Toei is like, nah, we're going for that ongoing. But there is a limited amount as of right now of manga content for the Dragon Ball Super story. So, and because the manga hasn't been announced to be returning, then eventually they're going to run out of manga content for Dragon Ball Super's anime, and then we'll be back at the point where we were, where it's like, hey, where do we go from here? So unless they're not going to continue the Dragon Ball Super manga, they need to get back on it and release new content ASAP. And that's another thing, because in the announcement and all the promotional stuff for this Dragon Ball Super anime return, the Galactic Patrol, while yes, of course, you better credit Akira Toriyama. Akira Toriyama's name, they've kind of overdid it of slapping his name on everything, because they just understand after his passing how much he really meant to everybody. But why no mentions of the dude that actually drew the manga for Dragon Ball Super, Toyotaro? How they're doing him is absolutely corny and lame. I don't like it. I think it's unfair. It's not right. Toyotaro put in the work. Toyotaro did everything he possibly could, and even in fact, I want to say he said in an interview, majority of this arc he did the heavy work. It was basically, hey, look at what I did, Toriyama, and Toriyama would basically say yes or no. Like, he is responsible for majority of the stuff. Yes, Toriyama was involved. Yes, Toriyama is the original creator, but Toyotaro deserves his credit. He deserves his props. He deserves his time and the limelight, and the fact that they kind of push him to the shadows, so to speak, and act like he doesn't exist in favor of just plastering Toriyama's name everywhere, which again, this is really nothing to do with Toriyama other than that they're like just spamming the crap out of his name. This is more so, why are they continuing to neglect the contributions that Toyotaro did? Like, those things right there, those accolades are a very big deal for Toyotaro's career. Having that name plastered on all the promotional stuff would help for whatever comes next after Dragon Ball. On top of the fact that you got to imagine that they got him right now in a corner, so to speak, of, hey, you can't really do much else. You got to just wait around for the Dragon Ball Super. No, that's wrong. That's horrible. And if I'm going to say the good news of, hey, Dragon Ball Super anime is back, I'm going to say the bad news that the manga, they got it still on hiatus, and they didn't give his proper credits for anything when it comes to Toyotaro's involvement in the next arc of the Dragon Ball Super story. Like, it's just wrong and unfair and not cool. And yeah, I'm going to speak my piece. I don't care how anybody feels about it. Toyotaro deserves his credit because everything that comes after Dragon Ball is essentially going to be a big deal if he gets his promotion. And there was some other announcements. There's like a new video game, which is really interesting because they were really promoting with, apparently Akira Toriyama did the character design for this video game, which from the announcement says new game project Age 1000. We got a tiny trailer of this character that he's kind of dressed like Great Saiyaman, but he has like white or silver hair, and honestly it looks interesting at the very least. But at the same time, again, they're really much so promoting this as, you know, Akira Toriyama is heavily involved. But the staff will reveal more updates at the Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour 2026 event, April 18th through 19th in LA. Bandai Namco Entertainment states the game is set for 2027. The game will include a never-before-seen original character designed by, once again, they gotta throw in his name, Akira Toriyama. And the character is that white-haired character. It's interesting to see that this is actually from original creator's mind. This isn't just like a, hey, let's shoehorn this in. Like, this is Toriyama's original intent, so definitely gotta say that that's valid, and it's a really good thing to note, ain't it? Akio Yoku stated Toriyama was involved in the world building, characters, and other aspects of the game, and the game has been in development for 6 to 7 years. It does give me kind of Xenoverse vibes in a way. I wouldn't be surprised if this is gonna be like, that's just a placeholder name, the Project 1000, and this is either gonna be a new Xenoverse or it's just gonna be a new game, but it's gonna be in the style. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it's another Xenoverse, like if the title of this game and the play of it is going to be another Xenoverse, just because, if I'm not mistaken, that's still the most successful franchise, and to this day it still gets supported with DLC despite the fact that the game is now a decade old. Like, is there any other I'm gotta imagine there's other games that have been supported for a long time, but that's a very, very long time for a game to still be getting support. Honestly, from all the Dragon Ball games I played up to recently, I'm gonna still stick with the fact that Kakarot is my favorite. I'm gonna just be honest, and that's not including like the OG games of like Budokai 3. Like, those Budokai games were special, and I'm just talking about like modern Dragon Ball gaming. There's just so much going on. But then there's something else, right? Because we got Dragon Ball Super anime is returning. We got the Moro arc incoming, because Galactic Patrol leads into the Moro arc, even though the way they're promoting it, they're trying to do it step by step. But then there's something extra that is very much so controversial, because we had a few days ago the voice actor that plays Goku in Dragon Ball. He already knew that this was about to happen, what I'm about to tell you guys right now.
Yeah, DBS remake. I don't know why they're doing a remake. I don't know the logic of it. You know, if they're gonna use the voices we already did or have us re-record, either way I'm fine, you know, whatever they want to do.
But then we got the big announcement that Dragon Ball Super Remake is seemingly happening. At the very least, the Beerus arc, the very beginning of Dragon Ball Super, is being remade again. Dragon Ball Super Beerus TV anime announced for this fall. Essentially, the Dragon Ball Super Remake is actually happening. The anime will again feature Koichi Yamadera as Beerus. Yamadera was on stage to announce the anime on Sunday. Akio Yoku stated the work started a few years ago and is an enhanced edition of the Dragon Ball Super anime that features a reconstruction of the story and includes new and redrawn cuts. The official announcement states the project features extensive new cuts, revisions to existing scenes, a complete re-rendering of all footage, newly recorded recorded dubbing with added score and sound effects, and a full reconstruction of the story, living up to the name Enhanced. This edition employs the latest visual expression to deliver greater power and immersion across all scenes, especially the battle sequences. The result is an enhanced edition that expresses, once again, they gotta put his name, Akira Toriyama's original idea. Oh my god. They took that bit of essentially, everybody's love for Toriyama, and they are exploiting the living fuck out of it, and world building more accurately that will be broadcasted with highly satisfying quality. With these 3 announcements that for the most part are very pivotal for 2026 and beyond of Dragon Ball Super, because make no mistake about it, the Dragon Ball franchise as a whole, this is where Dragon Ball is going. Daima, it looks like they're putting that behind them. It looks like at the very least for now, Daima is an afterthought. They're not thinking about it right now. We got Galactic Patrol, aka Dragon Ball Super Anime return. Honestly, there's a lot of variables of how this thing could go, but ultimately, stay faithful to the source material, give it the best possible art and animation, and this could be the greatest thing that the Dragon Ball franchise has been waiting for and needing for quite some time. Then we got, of course, this video game, depending on how they go with it, because it's 3D, it could be Xenoverse type of deal. Like, we gotta wait and see on that one. But then this Dragon Ball Super remake that I think it's coming in 2026, starting with the Beerus arc being remade. Kind of a little bit feels like a waste of resources. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, on one part, hey, if it looks great with 2026 art and animation updates and whatnot, that'd be fantastic. But honestly, the Beerus arc made it into the movie. It started off with Battle of Gods, the film, before Super was even a thing. It was Dragon Ball Battle of Gods. Then we got, of course, that TV anime remade it, and of course the manga remade it as well. So like animation, yeah, of course it continues to upgrade and change and thrive and all that stuff as the years go on, but it just feels like a massive waste of resources. It feels like there's so much more that could have been done. Original stories, whether it be a Bardock story, a Vegeta story, all the rumors have been sparkling around, like my opinion on where it should go with the Bardock stuff. Then there was rumors that happened of like, no, a Vegeta story is happening, and then like, no, Dragon Ball Super remake. Honestly, want to know what you guys think about this. A remake of Dragon Ball as a story as a whole with this new Dragon Ball Beerus arc that they're remaking. How do you feel about that? Like, personally, I'm kind of like, what's the point? Like, if I want to rewatch Super, like, it didn't happen that long ago. Like, if anything, this could have been a great opportunity. If you're gonna remake anything, remake OG Dragon Ball, or obviously, if it's not as lucrative for them or whatnot, remake Dragon Ball Z with today's art and animation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not Kai. Kai was cool and all, but I'm talking about a remake of its entirety would have been great for that. So the fact that they're doing this, I'm gonna just keep it real. It's like, I'm gonna tune in and it'll probably be really awesome, but more so excited about them continuing on with the Moro arc, and it seems as though potentially this remake is going to lead into that. So we're gonna go through everything we experienced beforehand. Like, we're gonna go through it all again, and then we're gonna get to the Moro arc, which I'm just kind of like, give me the Moro arc, give me this video game. But I don't want to tone down the vibe, because regardless of what, Dragon Ball Super Anime is returning, and that's the biggest thing possible of this whole thing. This seems like an epic win regardless of what, because Dragon Ball for the next few years is about to be more alive and well than it's been in quite some time. Since Dragon Ball Super TV anime went off air, we've only had like, the film and like announcements. The manga's been on hiatus. It's been like a mess, to be honest with you. So seems like they're getting back on track with Dragon Ball, and that's very much so a good thing. It seems like the future for Dragon Ball is very much so bright, and I'm looking forward to it for the most part. It's just kind of like, damn, there could have been so much more other projects that they could have done with what they're about to do with the Super remake. But let me know what you guys think. How do you feel about this? Do you feel genuinely like me that like, hey, why are we remaking Super? What's the point? Or you feel like, hey, if they're doing it to the top and best possible capabilities, that's great, starting at Beerus, and your overall thoughts and expectations. Like, Dragon Ball is one of the biggest projects in the world, you know what I'm saying? Like, this actual franchise and IP is something beyond words, and I'm looking forward to it for the most part. I'm more so really looking forward to the Moro arc, this video game, and everything that's supposed to come after that, granola and whatever else they have in store. But it's all after this one, though. I'm Tim. As always, people, have an awesome day. Peace in. Yeah, Dragon Ball Super's returning. Didn't think it would happen, but here we are.